Hi everybody, so already we're here with the April beauty and fashion favourites, because I'm showing you some fashion today, beauty and makeup favourites. So we have reached the end of April already, can you believe it? And we are now into May. So I'm going to be showing you the products that I've been trying this month, giving you some updates on them and showing you some of the things that I've really enjoyed, some of which are fashion, which is something I very rarely, if ever, show you on this channel, but I've had the best successful month fashion-wise and I had to share some of that with you as well. But mostly this will be makeup, but we do also have some perfume, another few successes actually. So I can't wait to go through all of this with you. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah, I'm 48, I'm not a professional, just somebody who really loves makeup and beauty, and here on my channel I show you the latest releases, my favourite looks and products, and any beauty news you might be interested in. So if you think you'd enjoy this content, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. Lots of people are viewing without subscribing, so if you could, that would be ever so helpful to me. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back. I really appreciate you being here. Anyway, that's enough talking about me. Let's get straight into this video. So let's start with fashion, and I'll start with HALARA. You may have seen here on my channel I did a section within one of my videos showing you a full try on with HALARA, a brand I've looked at so many times but never actually tried and had so much success. And I also talked to you in that video about how I've got really bad IBS and stomach issues and I'm in perimenopause, so combine all those together and we're looking at flare-ups from trousers being too tight, too constrictive, and having a stomach that can go from flat to very, very swollen and bloated within the same day. So I need clothes that don't give me flare-ups and I need clothes that are comfortable, and that is what HALARA brought me. So I was really delighted with my try-ons from HALARA. Everything was comfortable, stretchy, I was able to squat down comfortably and stand up, but most importantly I was able to wear them throughout the day without any of that restriction around the waist. So really, really successful there. And my top ones that I would recommend from my try on, I'll pop some pictures up, would be the HALARA Flex Mid-Rise Multiple Pocket Straight Leg Stretchy Knit, this is such a long title, casual cargo jeans, very, very comfortable, lots of different shades available in this one. I got mine in black denim, but I would quite like to get a lighter shade. And then we had the Softlyzero Plush High-Waisted Drawstring Side Pocket plain full length cool touch joggers. And if you saw my review, these are silky soft, they're like wearing velvet, so comfortable, beautiful, and I love the fact that they've got pockets. That is such a bonus for me. And then we have the HALARA Flex high-waisted multiple pocket rolled hem wide leg washed stretchy knit casual jeans. These jeans are super comfortable, and I like the fact that they've got the turn ups which are actually sewn in so they don't pop down. So these are really good for sort of summer if it's not too hot, sort of spring summer jeans, and I can wear sandals with them, but they're super comfortable. They've got the pockets again, and again you can get lots of colours in everything I'm showing you here. And also they did give me a 15% off discount code, which is Han101, so hopefully that's still working. So if you want to look through any of those, the links are below for you. But talking about the most comfortable trousers ever, I was watching a video by a creator, I can't remember her name, if I remember it I'll put it on the, Molly Campsie, that's her name, M-O-L-L-I-E I think, is it Campsie, A-M-P-S-I-E? I will look it up. Anyway, she said she's found the most comfortable joggers, and that was just after I'd done the HALARA. Now you would argue, why am I interested? I've just found the most comfortable joggers, but she literally does this for a living. She's an expert in fashion, and she said these are the most comfortable, softest joggers. And if you don't agree with her, come back and shout at her, because she was so confident. She really went on about them, and they're from Lululemon. Now I know Lululemon's a very trusted brand. I've only ever actually bought sports equipment from Lululemon, not actually clothes, because I've been a little bit put off by the price, if I'm going to be honest. It's a very high price, but she raved about this to such a degree, I thought I'll try one. And if I tell you, I've gone back and I've bought 3 more. Hopefully my husband's not watching this because he'll have a fit when he finds out what they cost. But anyway, she said to get the Lululemon Groove High Rise Nulu flared pants. So I picked these up in black. These are, and I'm wearing a pair of them now, not the flared one, which I'll tell you which one I'm wearing. and these are just exceptionally comfortable. They go above the HALARA, they go above anything I've ever tried. Molly was absolutely spot on. These are absolutely perfection, the softest, silkiest material I think I've ever worn. It's like you're not wearing anything, but they also seem to shape you as well. So they give you shape and they just are so flattering. And with the flared bottom, you can wear them as trousers, so they're not just active wear. I think you can wear them with a really smart top, which is actually what I'm doing today. So this is a top I'm actually going to mention because this was another fabulous discovery. But I'm wearing these today with the cropped version of these trousers. So the cropped version is the Lululemon Align High Rise Crop. Now it's important that you have the right one there because these are exactly the same material. They've got different names. So the flared one is called the Nulu and the cropped one is called the Align, but they are both in the same material because for me that's really important. So what I did is I went back and got another colour in the long length flared ones, and then I went and got 2 colours in the cropped one so I could wear them in the summer, and that's what I'm wearing now. I picked up a brown pair which I'm wearing with this, and they are just so comfortable, but also they make you feel so confident. They don't have pockets, which might help a little bit, as in being a little bit more shape, giving you a bit more shape because you're not getting any sort of slight bulge. Even though the HALARA ones, I didn't find they affected the shape at all, the way the pockets are positioned. So the HALARA ones I showed you are very similar to these and a much more affordable price. But these are just something else, and they are my absolute favourite trousers. So I had to show you that. And I had to show you this because this brand, VARLEY, was a very dangerous discovery for me this month. But I can tell you this is my favourite top I've bought in a very long time, certainly all year. All of Christmas, all of the autumn winter period, and this is a summer, obviously summer spring top. I probably couldn't wear it in super hot weather, but it does have all the holes in it, so it's quite breathable. And you've got the short sleeve, so I've got, you know, it's very comfortable, but it is quite heavy. But the quality on this is just, it is beautiful. I love it so much. I'll pop a picture up. I went back and bought the blue one, which hasn't come yet. So I love this. And I've actually gone in and made another order for another jumper, which I won't show you because I haven't got it yet. But let me just tell you, I love textured knits. I love them. And this is my all-time favourite textured knit shop. Without a doubt, the quality is exceptional. And this, I love it. And one more clothes item I want to show you. I've been looking for a dress for a holiday coming up in the summer with my husband, and I haven't found one that I thought is the dress. You know, you might have a few dresses for your evenings out, but you want the dress for the best night, for the night you're going to feel really special. And we sometimes do cruises, so this would be the dress at night dress for me, which might not be the right colour on a cruise ship, but I like to break the rules anyway. I don't like to wear black and formal wear. I like to wear floral and I like colours. And I found this dress on Monsoon. It's called the Marlene Floral Print Midi Dress in green. It's got a sort of duck egg blue, and it's exactly the same colour in real life as it is on the website, which often isn't the case. In fact, I think it's even more beautiful in the flesh. I absolutely adore this. The only thing I would say, if you're interested in getting it, is size up. I read the reviews and it did say to size up. At the moment I'm wearing a UK 12 in my dresses, which is a US 8, and I did go up to a UK 14 in the dress because it is very fitted. There's a zip at the back and it's very fitted around the rib cage, and it just fits quite snugly and comfortably in a 14, but it's fitting me exactly the same way my 12s are fitting me. So just keep that in mind if you did want to get that. But I had to show you these fashion finds because they've been the best finds. I'm honestly thrilled. So I found my best dress, my most comfortable trousers. These crop trousers from Lululemon will be coming with me on the plane for sure. And these tops, I don't think I'll be taking these ones to a hot country, but I'm going to be living in this in the blue one. So you'll probably see this a lot on this channel because I just want to wear it all the time. And it's so dangerous that now I've been buying from them, their adverts keep popping up on Facebook and everywhere else. And every day, honestly, every day I end up clicking and looking and think, oh, I'm not allowed anymore. But oh, wow. It's been a good month for clothes for me. Terrible month for the bank account, but great month for clothes finds. So let's now move into beauty, and I'll start with this primer / SPF, which is the Dior Snow UV base. This has SPF 50. So this, I was really interested in this because it corrects and it gives you a moisturiser and it gives you SPF. So I can skip a moisturiser when I use this, I can skip a primer, and I can skip SPF because it's doing all three. So that's something I love, especially in the sort of spring summer seasons when it gets a bit warmer and you want a bit less on your skin. This is beautiful, and I've tried this underneath lots of different foundations now. It works absolutely perfectly. It does very slightly correct the skin, so you could just wear this on its own. It does make my skin look very healthy actually, and there's no sort of white cast. It's got a lovely finish, and it works very well as a primer and a moisturiser. It's not overly moisturising, but it gives you really good hydration, so it's perfect for the sort of spring summer period. My only problem with it is, one, it's tiny and very expensive, but the other one is it's really hard to get the product out. So I can't just squeeze it. I mean, I don't know about you, but the strength in my fingers as I'm getting closer to 50 is getting weaker and weaker. And this requires a very powerful squeeze. In fact, today, the only way I could get this out was to use both hands and squeeze it out onto my desk and scoop it up. So I hate the packaging and it's very pricey, but do I recommend it? Absolutely. Fabulous product. So as usual, I'm wearing my favourites from this month. So if you guess at any point what I've got on my face, I would love it ever so much if you hit the pause button and put in the comment section which one you think I'm wearing when I go through these different sections. But next I'm going to go to foundation, and that's a bit of an easy guess because I've only tested one this month, and that is the Dolce Gabbana Cushion Foundation. But let me tell you, if I'd been testing 10, I'm pretty certain this would have been the favourite and the one on my face, because this is phenomenal. I've worn this almost every single day since the day I reviewed it, not just because I want to review it and give you information, because I don't want to wear anything else. It's beautiful, it's worked with everything. I've tried different primers underneath, I've tried different creams, I've tried different SPFs, different vitamin C's, different powders on top, different blushes on top. It works with everything. It's very creamy, very glowy, very easy to apply, very quick. I absolutely adore it. The problem with this is the shade range is pathetic. I think there's about 6 shades, so we desperately need a really big shade range in this, and I really hope that it's popular enough for Dolce & Gabbana to increase the shade range, because this is exceptional. I love it. So this year I would say my top 2 easily would be this one and the Glam Terracotta Glow. And how would I choose between them right now? I honestly don't know. Maybe I'd need to do them side by side to say which I love the most, because if you said to me now which one would I grab, I don't know. I love them both. I don't use the cushion that came with it, the applicator. I think I would only use that for touch-ups. I did try it, and I do usually quite like these, but I actually prefer applying this with a brush. I find it's a lot quicker. So I've been using the Refair LCO3 every time, just pat in and on, and it's done in seconds. My skin absorbs it in a flash. I get good longevity with this. It's complementary to mature skin. It doesn't cake. It's just fantastic. Absolutely love it. So if they do have your shade, absolutely recommend picking this one up. And mine is in the shade 01C, by the way. So with that release, they also released this PH blush, this liquid blush, which I've absolutely loved and didn't honestly expect to love quite as much as I do. I've got this on today, and I've actually worn this most days since getting it, because this sits beautifully underneath powders. So I've got another blush on today, but I started with this because this does not budge. This really, really lasts, and it's got a beautiful colour for PH. I've tried all sorts of different PH blushes, and this is my favourite colour I've ever got from a PH blush. They're not single colours, these. I've tried so many, and I definitely get different shades with different ones. This one is my favourite. I love it. I highly recommend it because it gives you a lovely natural glow that blends in really beautifully. So I put this on on top of my foundation, then I powder, and then I go in with powder, bronzers and blush. So this is locking everything in. So when my blush does fade down a bit, you've still got this locked in. You can also put it on the lips. I don't actually like the look of this on the lips, funnily enough, but it does work. I've tried it. I've got another one here I actually used from Sephora, which is the Colour Twister. This actually does a very similar job. This one I prefer on the lips. I didn't actually add this into my video, but anyway, this is it's a blue one from Sephora, the Sephora Collection brand. And the shade of this is 03 Bizarre Berry. So this has a similar effect, but it looks better on the lips, and this will give you a locked in colour as well. but it's not quite as pretty on the cheeks, but it's still very nice. So slightly cheaper option there on Sephora. I haven't linked that one below because I wasn't planning on mentioning it, but anyway, just thought I'd quickly mention that. If you do want the link, let me know, I'd be happy to send it to you. I've also got a 15% discount code which works on anything from the Sephora collection, so that's HANSPH by the way, and that works on the UK Sephora site. But anyway, that's my two different products from Dolce Gabbana, which I've absolutely loved. So next I want to show you the Givenchy PRISME LIBRE bronzer, but just before I do that, I do want to give you an update on the Givenchy pressed powder. There's something I really wanted to tell you about these. Now, if you've followed me for a while, you'll probably have seen that I've been talking about the pressed powder for a very long time, and it's actually coming out now like it's a new product. I'm seeing everyone talking about it like it's a brand new product. It's not a brand new product, it's a reformulated product. And I think it is important to know that because I do actually have a backup of the original. And the original, which I have here, I've got the ingredients list on it. The packaging is very similar, but I will show you the difference. I don't think you'll be able to buy this one now, but it's got that rough top, just like the original formula of the loose powder had, and the new formulated one has got the shiny top. And the other slight difference is when you open it up, the part that contains the brush comes up this way and blocks the mirror, whereas the new version opens this way and doesn't block the mirror, so it's a little bit better. Anyway, this is what I really want to talk about, this. I've hit pan on 2 of these and I haven't even used them that much. I've used them since I first got them in the last 6 weeks, and this is what I really want to talk about. So the new formula of the Givenchy is talc free, which is great news, but I did say when I tried it that I found it more powdery than the original formula, and I find them very similar. But firstly, the new one is not going to be an exact match for the original loose like everyone is saying it is. It can't be, because ingredients wise they're not the same. The original formula had talc in it and this new reformulated pressed powder doesn't. If you want an exact match, you'd have to get the old version, which is now taken off the website. So this new one is not an exact match. It might behave in a similar way, but it's not an exact match. And I can assure you that it's not an exact match because my original did not hit pan in a matter of weeks. Look how much has gone from this. Plus, I've been using, well, I've got 3 shades in this. So I've been using this shade, which is the lightest shade, just for under the eyes. I haven't hit pan on that because I have literally just used it underneath the eyes. But I've also been using this shade, which is the 03, and I've just hit pan on this as well. Only a little bit on this one. This one, which is the shade I use the most, which is 01, the pastel. Look how much I've used. And in this time, I've been testing out the blue YSL powder, the loose powder, and I've been switching between these two, one or the other. And I've also been using the Nude and Myrex powder. So in the last 6 weeks, using this on and off, I've hit pan on 2 of them. And these are very expensive. And certainly this didn't happen. I'm trying to see if I've got 2 seconds. Yeah, I've got my original, my very first version of this pressed powder, which came in this lovely packaging last summer, which is how I discovered the original pressed powder. That's how much I hit pan on that. But I used it every single day, on and off. Not every day because I test powders, what am I talking about? I used it most days that I wasn't testing powders. I took it on every holiday. I've used it so much. And okay, all of that has gone, but I've been using it for a year. And then we look at the one in the exact same shade, this one, which I've been using on and off just for a few weeks, and look. So I really think that people need to be aware of that. The powder is more powdery and it just flies out. Well, it doesn't fly out in your face like with talc, but clearly you're picking up a lot more product. And I did think I needed to use less, but I do think you also have to go back in and touch up because it does seem like oils come through more quickly than with the original. So whilst I'm really enjoying using them, I don't think I'm prepared to pay the price to keep using them as much as I am. I think I will have to stick with my YSL loose because I prefer the way that looks. I just like the ease of using a pressed powder, but I had to show you that because I'm a little bit well, devastated how quickly they went, and I think you could be too. So I know I've recommended them and I do really like them, but I really wanted you to know that. So anyway, the product I actually tested this month was their new bronzer, which I also was slightly disappointed with because of the shade, but I have really enjoyed using it, and I'll show you how that is. And obviously I'm wearing that today, but that's because I haven't tested out any other bronzers, so it had to be this one really. So I've picked this one up in the lightest shade, and the way that I've been using this is I've just been going over these two colours here. When I showed you in the beginning, I showed you how this is super warm, and I was trying to use just these three shades, and I still thought it was warm, but that's because this shade here is pretty warm as well. These are the cooler ones. So if I just sweep across these two, which is what I've done today, it's perfect. If I wanted to bronze up and maybe wear more tan, even though I am wearing a bit of tan, probably enough tan for me in all honesty, I'm not sure if I'd want to go up much from what I'm wearing now, but if I did want to go up, then I could probably go for the all four. I would never just go for these two on their own, but that does make these two a little bit redundant. And if I was going to use this on the eyes, like I did when I reviewed it, I would probably be going for these two because these are too warm for me on the eyes. This is nice on its own as a contour. You can definitely dip into it on its own and then sweep and use it as a contour, and then you can use these two as a bronzer. That does, for me, make these two pretty redundant. So I would like them to bring out something that doesn't include all this warmth. I think it's an awful lot of warmth coming from these two, much more than I personally need. So if you've got a warmer undertone, perfect for you. If you've got cool undertones like me, not perfect. And that's the problem I've got with it. The formula is beautiful, longevity beautiful, wears beautifully, and like I said, if I use those two cooler tones like I'm wearing today, I think it's perfect. It's just a shame for me that it's not all suiting the sort of cool complexion, but otherwise lovely formula, stunning actually, blends beautifully. And no effort involved, it just literally melts into the skin, it's gorgeous. So I said that I didn't test out another bronzer. Well, I did actually, so I'll go through the whole collection, the Dior collection, because there's two Dior collections I've reviewed, so I'll go through the one I reviewed first, which was their summer collection. And this collection was quite a disappointment in all honesty. This is the bronzer that came with that, which I haven't touched since, and I can't see me touching again. It is way too warm. It's definitely not a shade for me. Even in the summer, I don't think this would work for me with a tan. You need a very warm complexion for this one to work. It's not a particularly soft formula. It's quite a dry formula. It's just not their best type of formula. They do have their bronzers are a much softer matte. This one is more of a flat, quite powdery matte, and it's very warm. And oh, the gold spray is irrelevant. It's almost gone just from that one or two times. I say I did try this a few times after I reviewed it, because I did need to be sure that it was definitely not for me, but it's not for me. And also it's an exact copy of the one that they launched last year. There is no difference apart from the packaging, which is prettier, and the fact that it had the gold overspray. But I do think it's a bit of a disappointment to launch the same product as last year, which was not very good last year and it's not very good this year. So that's a fail for me, and I definitely would not be recommending that one. And then onto the highlighter, which came with that release, which is this one. This is the Coral Glow. And again, this is quite a dry formula. They have much nicer formulas. If you look at their luminizer powders in, for instance, the lilac, and they brought out that beautiful pink. The, which ones were they called now? I've got it sitting right next to me. The pink halo is my favourite. They brought out a few different types of highlighter in that previous launch, which was a month before. And we got the pink halo, then we got the duochrome, and then we got the super glittery. I would say that this one falls into the super glittery category, which is another reason why I'm not a big fan. But it also isn't the smooth buttery formula that we get with this halo finish, which is sensational. It is. It's so good. That one and the lilac, I love them. But this one, very, very glittery, and it is not just the overspray. Somebody commented on my review when I said that, saying it's the overspray. It's not. This has gold going right the way through it, and every time you put it on, you are left with gold glitter all over. And even if you put it on the eyes, it's a beautiful shade for the eyes. You've still got a lot of glitter on the eyes, which is not a problem, but it's giving a lot of fallout onto the face. So it's an absolute fail for me, that one as well. Beautiful packaging, very disappointed with that one. I would not recommend getting that. And then the other part of that collection, which was also pretty much a fail and something I've not gone back to use, were the 2 eyeshadow quads that came with it. So we had this one, which was Coral Riviera. I mean, I wouldn't say they're total fails because they are pretty, but they're definitely not my favourites. And this one is Pink Riviera. So there's the 2 of them. You see the gold spray vanished from, I say first use. I've tried them about 3 times now, but they do disappear pretty much from first use. And they're both sort of dry powder formula. They're not the super creamy. They're not massively dry so that they're impossible to blend. They're still easy to blend. Dior eyeshadows are always easy to blend. But these 2 are not the lovely soft buttery formula we got with their most recent launch, which I'll show you in a minute, which is actually the one I'm wearing on my eyes today. The colour stories on these, I think I preferred the pink, but both of them are nice colour stories. I think if they were the soft formula that we've had in the next launch, these would have been fabulous. I like the colours. I just think that the formula is not great. And also they're quite glittery, and it's not just the gold overspray again with these. There is quite a lot of glitter running through all of these. And I felt that when I mixed them together, I was just left with a bit of a gold glittery look still. And it is actually inside the powder, it is running through. So there's so much gold glitter, which is something I don't like in both eyeshadows and in the luminizer. So I'm going to be putting these ones away and keeping them for swatch comparisons because I won't be wearing them again. That's how I feel about those, unfortunately. The 2 products from that release which I actually loved were these 2. So these are both the lip maximizers. And this one is Garnet Fizz and this one is Aqua Pop. Garnet Fizz is extremely pigmented. It gives me so much colour with great longevity, and it gives me all the moisturising qualities you get from the maximizer. But this one is so pigmented, it is beautiful. If you want to see my full review of the Dior Summer Collection, I try all of these on and you'll see how gorgeous this one is. But it's quite surprising for this type of gloss to give that much pigment. And this one I think is gorgeous too. I think this one's a little bit like Marmite. Some people did not like the finish of this necessarily on me or in general, because you do really get the sparkle. It's almost like got mermaid sparkle in it, and you really do pick up on the green flecks. This is something I would use only as a topper, and when I do, it does give green flecks, which I love. I think it's fun, and if I'm wearing green makeup, perfect one to pull out. So both of these have sat on my desk since reviewing them, which is why I'm not pulling them out of the basket on my left, and they're going straight back on my desktop here because they've become regular uses, especially the green Aqua Pop. I love it. Also sitting on my desk from that release was this new shade I picked up in the Dior Addict Lip Glow Oil. This one is Pink Pop, I believe. Beautiful shade, very, very hydrating, even more hydrating than the Maximizer, just not as plumping. They're always gorgeous formulas, and I've worn that quite a lot actually. That and the Fenty, which I'll show you in a minute. But that was quite a big success for me. The one that wasn't so much was the Dior Addict Lip Tint. I don't even know where I've put that now. It was next to it, but I don't want to wear it again, purely because this one is very pigmented. But there's 2 problems I've got with this, is when I put it on, it disappears from the centre of my lips very, very quickly, and it's very obvious because it's so bold. The shade I picked up, have I written it down? Yeah, Natural Raspberry is the shade I picked up. Very, very strong colour, and at first I thought it looked extremely promising because when you apply it and then you put your hand to your lips, there is no stain whatsoever. It is not coming off. So I thought, that's it, this is going to be the perfect one. But I just had a couple of coffees and it came off in the centre of the lips, and it just looked very strange because I had the bold outline colour with bare lips. So it was an absolute fail for me, and I did try it again without any sort of lip oil or lip balm underneath. I've tried it with, I've tried it several ways, it's no good. So this one is not going back over there, this one's going back in the basket to be put away after this video. So now on to blushes, and this is the one I'm wearing today. So have you guessed which powder blush I'm wearing today? Well, it is this beautiful one from Rare Beauty. This is their new formula, which I have to say, I think it is stunning. My favourite of the month, probably one of my favourites of the year, if not my favourite of the year so far. This is gorgeous. So this is the one I'm wearing today, Happy, which is my favourite of the 3 I tested. I also picked up, which one did I pick up? Worth, and I picked up Hope. Hope would be my second favourite, I think. Worth wasn't so much the right shade for me. I picked up a fourth one, I completely forgot, Truth, which is very strong on me. All of them work. I would use them to match my makeup look, so I wouldn't say any of them are bad on me. It's just that my favourites are Hope and Happy, Happy especially. So this has this sort of squishy consistency, very similar to MAC Glow Play. And you can see I'm just picking up a little bit there. It does give a matte finish, but it also gives a bit of a glow, and this goes on top of foundation, it goes on top of powder. It's extremely easy to blend out. It gives a very natural finish. I never need to go in with any sort of finishing powder because it just blends in with everything beautifully. I haven't used any sort of finishing powder today. Yeah, it's got great longevity. It's absolutely stunning. I love it. I really love it. And if you mix this with their glowy blush formula, I know it wasn't called that, but you know last year they came out with those lovely blushes that were super glowy, almost like highlighters. If you mix it with a corresponding shade, so the Happy powder blush on top as a highlighter, the combination is sensational. I love it. And if you want to see that demonstrated, I have done a review showing that. So if you look for my Rare Beauty blush review from this month or from April, you will see me doing that. They work together beautifully, but these absolutely gorgeous. Delighted I got these, and I'll be keeping them in my regular rotation, specifically Happy and Worth, and Hope I meant. So on to another eye product. I picked up 4 shades of these new matte cream eyeshadows from RMS. So this is their first matte version of these. I really enjoyed the highlights they did, which were the shiny version, and now they've brought these ones out. And I tried all of them. Had quite a lot of success with these 2 lighter shades. Not so much success with these darker shades, and I have done a review of these as well, which you'll be able to see if you want to see them in action. The lighter ones seem to blend out with a bit more time and a bit more easily. These ones were much more tricky. I do think the fact that they're more pigmented plays a role in that, but the reason these are a bit tricky is I've never used an eyeshadow like this that dries down as fast as this. This will lock down and stay all day, which is very good news. But this dries exceptionally quickly, so you need to work super fast. So if you don't get it exactly the way you want it, you've had it unless you wash it off and start again, which is why with this shade here, which was Canyon Clay, and then the other one Desert Rose, but Canyon Clay, the deepest one, particularly difficult. So once you've got it in the position you want it, it's good, but it wasn't that, it also didn't blend out quite as evenly as I would have liked. But these 2 did, and this one here, Mountain Mist, is probably my favourite, and then this one, Wildflower. These make lovely bases, and if you just put a shimmer over the top, they work beautifully. I actually really enjoyed these and found them really easy, but bizarrely, if I hadn't got the deeper shades, I would have been saying to you, 10 out of 10, beautiful. But then I tried the deeper and really struggled with them, and I have tried them a few times and had exactly the same issue. So definitely if you use these, make sure that you've got nothing on your eyelids, because you do not want to have any sort of powder. You could obviously have your concealer, which I always tend to do, and some sort of cream primer, but do not have any sort of powder on your lids first. You do not want to introduce any more powder, because these dry down like an extremely dry powder. But they are mature skin friendly, they do not emphasize lines, and they lock in all day long. So if that's what you're looking for, they work very well for that, but just be wary of the deeper shades. But 3 liquid shadows I did try, which aren't in there because they are on my desk because I want to use them all the time, and that is 3 new shades of the Armani eye tint. So this is not a new formula. We know this formula is fabulous. I just picked up the 3 new shades, and as usual, this blends out like an absolute dream. They last all day as well. They work in the waterline, actually under the waterline, and they lock in and they are absolutely beautiful. I've got a feeling I've got a 4th one here. Yeah, I do, because I've picked up one of the colours that isn't a new release, this one, because I bought another shade to try, but these are the 3 that I bought, the 3 new shades, so I shouldn't have shown you the pink then. So this one is the Olive, which is really beautiful. So this one is a khaki green matte. And then this one here is the Burnt Sienna Metallic, which is called Auburn, number 69S, and the Olive is number 90M. And then we have Sandalwood, which is a brick beige matte, and that is 25M. And again, you will find a full demonstration of these here on my channel. I love them. The khaki is my favourite. Khaki on its own, nothing else on the eyes, and just add highlighter on the top, and it's one of my favourite looks I've done all year. That's how fabulous it was. Really loved it. I did find the shimmery one a little bit more tricky. I think that the shimmers aren't quite as effective as their matte finishes, so that's probably why I preferred the khaki, but I still loved it. So still very good and leagues above the RMS in my opinion. So continuing with eyeshadows and on to the second Dior launch from this month. I bought all 4 shades of the new Dior eyeshadow. Dior Show 5 colour limited edition. You can see it's got this completely different packaging. If we look at their standard packaging, that's how different it is. So it doesn't have this smooth sort of shiny surface. It's designed to actually look like the Dior handbag. I really like it. Very, very hard surface, easy to keep clean, and I think it's been popular with most people. But the thing about this release was the formula. Every single one of these is beautiful. They've got a very creamy formula, and this is the one that I'm wearing on my eyes today. It's Silk Taupe. This is actually my most used out of all 4 since I got it, mostly because it matches up with all the pinks I'm wearing, because I love wearing pinks. So at the moment today I've got this shade as my transition and basically my in the crease outer V section, just not across the lid. Then I've got this pink here covering from there to there, and then I've got this shimmer in this sort of first third and in the inner corner, and then I've used this shade to line. I did skip the gold. I think I said when I reviewed it I'd probably use that the least, and that's what I've done. So I've used these outside 4, but these are buttery, creamy, much better than their previous release and their previous ones before that. This is the best formula they've come out with for some time. So if you've been disappointed with the Dior eyeshadow formulas, or you miss their creamy finish that they used to have, this is it. This is the creamy formula and it is gorgeous. So this one is the Silk Taupe, and then I've also got, well, I've got all of them as I said, but I'll go through them quickly. The Coral Couture, which was my favourite actually, and I haven't gone back and worn it because I haven't worn that sort of look. Well, I have worn a look like this, but I actually went for my Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow instead. But I do really want to go back to it because I love it, and I'm keeping it on my desk for that reason, because it's beautiful. In fact, Silk Taupe and this one are both staying on my desk. I've got a couple that I keep, Dior and Chanel, that I rotate through, and those 2 are staying right there right now because I love them. And I'll probably put this one away, even though it's my favourite of the 4, and I'll put it away because I'll probably be using it more for autumn winter, and that is the Brown Cashmere, which I think is stunning. My favourite, like I said, of the 4. The Coral was the one I liked my look mostly, but I think this is probably the best, the most usable. And this topper in the middle is stunning. These formulas are gorgeous. They all come with a beautiful topper. You will find a beautiful topper in all of them. The mattes are very easy to use, and the shimmers are mature skin friendly. They are just gorgeous. They've got lots of one and dones in these. They're everything you could possibly want if you like these colour stories. And whilst they may be boring and not getting reviewed for that reason, they are absolutely worth looking at because they are stunning. And then this is probably my in 4th spot for me out of this release, which is Rose Organza, purely because the colour story isn't quite as exciting for me. But this topper, this is the best topper out of all of them. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, shifty sort of topper. It's got a bit of pink in it. This one has got more mattes, I believe. Has it got? Yeah, because these 3 are all mattes. And then we've got this topper shade, and then we've got a sort of satin shimmery shade there. But they are beautiful. So if you want to go back in time to the old Dior formulas that were more creamy and beautiful, these will absolutely give you that. But I'll be putting the pink away along with the brown, and I might just dig out the pink now and again. But the ones that stand out for me are the, well, I've told you the Coral is the one I'm going to be using, but I'm going to be keeping this one out as well, the taupe, the Silk Taupe. But I'm going to definitely bring out the Brown Cashmere again for autumn winter. Like I said, the pink, I can't keep everything on my desk, so I'm just showing you the ones that I think are my absolute favourites right now for this season. So very pleased with that launch from Dior. And also from that release we had the new liners from Dior, liquid liners. So I picked up 3 shades, and my big mistake here was picking up light ones, the pink and the mint. So the pink just is almost invisible. I can't see it in my waterline, even when I put it on top of, if I was to put a line of it through here where you think it might show up over the darker shadow, it doesn't. I just can't get this one to show up, so that's an absolute waste of my time. The formula and the pen and the way it applies, beautiful, but this shade, no good for me at all. These are made in Korea, and the shade, I'm trying to see what it's called. What is it called? Shimmer Rose, but that one is definitely just going into my drawer and not going to be used. And the minty shade, I do like this one. This is pretty, and this can definitely be used if you want to. Well, I'll show you how I use it now actually. I won't show you, but this one is, let me see the name of it, Shimmer Mint. But the way I like to use it is with this one, which was my highlight from the ones I tried. So this is the dark one, and this is the dark green, and it's gorgeous, this one, Pearly Emerald. So this gives a really dark shade, but it's a lovely, easy liquid liner. I'm not a fan of liquid liners. This one applied without any mistakes, any problems, really easy to get tight to the lash line. I'll show you the nib on these. It's really, really, really easy. And the way I like to use the mint, which I wouldn't in hindsight have bought though, but now I've got it, is to put it on top of this. So use that as my dark liner and then go on top with the mint, and then it really shows up, and that's the best way to do it. So maybe if you went for one of the deep sort of mauvey or browny pink shades, and you then go for the one that I've just put down, the pink, maybe that's how you could get the pink to pop. But because it's so hard to get these to show up, I've tried them in the waterline and everything, they're just so pale, these two. I wouldn't go for the light shades, but if you want to go for one of the dark shades like this green, highly recommend. They do not budge, they lock in all day, they really, really lock in. Like, you have to really get a lot of oil, cleansing oil, to get them off. Very good liners though, very, very good. And the other thing that launched with them was this mascara. So I'm wearing this mascara today, and I have actually used this nearly every day since getting it, and I've ended up enjoying it a bit more than I did when I did my review. The Dior Show Over Volume 24-Hour Extreme Volume Mascara Lash by Lash Fan Effect. This is in Over Black. It only came in the one shade. When I reviewed this, I was telling you how I had two issues. If I go in for a second layer, the clumpiness was appalling, and it was just, you could literally see the clumps. So you have to stick with, in my opinion, just one layer of this, which is what I've done, which is probably the intended use of it. It does give you a lot of instant volume, but it is quite a heavy mascara, so even though I've gone in with a curler after application and before, you can probably see that my lashes are not really standing up much. They're already coming down because it's quite heavy. But what hasn't happened again, which happened in my review, is the first 3 days of using this, I was getting a tiny bit of smudging, just a tiny bit there, and I'm not getting that anymore. So that stopped. I'm just checking I haven't got any marks, because I did actually spray my face with a moisturising spray before filming, and I'm thinking, have I got any? But no, I haven't. But no, I've used this nearly every day, and it's been absolutely fine. So it's a good one for that quick application, if you want that very quick volumizing effect, but it's not going to give you much in the way of curl, and if you've got very small lashes like mine, they may struggle to hold up the weight of this. So it's good, I do like it, and I'm happy to keep using it, but it's not a favourite. But the smudge thing stopped after 3 days, so I think that just really emphasises how important it is to never judge the mascara until you've tried it for a good few days. Sometimes even a week is when they come into their own, isn't it? So now on to lip products. Actually, before I move on to that one, I've just realised I didn't mention the Fenty Cherry Blushes, because I'm going to talk about the Fenty lip products. But I did try the Cherry Release from Fenty. This formula is very similar to, or as the same actually, exactly the same as the peach one that launched last year, which was my favourite. And these are the two shades. These are very powerful for light skin, so I would say they aren't favourites purely for that reason, because I have to work quite hard to blend these out and make them work for me, because they are way too dark for my skin tone. But if you love these colours and you've got my skin tone, you can absolutely make it work. And if you watch my full review of this collection, you'll see how I made it work. I thought that this one suited me better than this shade. And they work very nicely on the eyes as well. So lovely formula, really, really smooth, and they have that little bit of shine to them. So they are actually called blush lighters, and that's exactly what they are. They're called velour blush lighters actually, and they are like velour soft. They are gorgeous, and the packaging on them is so much fun. So if you've got a deeper skin tone, definitely recommend. If you've got a lighter skin tone, you need to be careful about how you apply it. So if you're happy to be careful, you can make these work, but they're beautiful. But for me, the highlight of the Fenty collection was the lip products. So one of the things that launched with that was Cherry and More, which came in the duo, the lip duo. It came with the brown liner, which I don't actually have to hand right now, but the traced out liner, which I wasn't as much of a fan of. But this Cherry and More is absolutely beautiful. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit on now, but before I do, let me just tell you what's on my lips, because it's Fenty. Because Fenty also launched the Fenty oils this last month. I picked up every single shade, and the one I'm wearing today, I think it's called Raspberry. Let me just double check. Yeah, Raspberry Jam. So I've got Raspberry Jam on today. I love these oils, and I will talk about them again in a minute, but just wanted to mention that's what's on my lips. But let me just put a little bit of this Cherry on. Look at that. Look at that colour. Beautiful. If you know me, I'm a massive, massive, massive fan of Fenty. In fact, let me show you this. I recently bought these drawers so that I can store my Fenty, because I want to see them all. I've got a little gap there in the middle, look, so I can buy a bit more, but I can see them in this, which I love, so I can pull the drawer out and see each colour. So I've got all of them there. That's how much, and I'm keeping it right next to me here on my desk to my right, just behind me, so I can always dip in and out because I love them. So this Fenty Cherry, like I said, the Cherry, this is in the Gloss Bomb, if you're wondering which one. So that's going into the drawer with all my Fenty Gloss Bombs. And so is the one I've just shown you, the Raspberry Jam. So I've got all the shades of this here in my top section of my new drawer, and I love all of them. The Raspberry Jam I thought just went well with my look today, but if I was going to pick a favourite out of all of the ones I'm looking at, it would be obviously this one. And this one is the Miss Jellyfish. Just look at that one close up. Look at the colours in there. And I say obviously because if you know me, you know I'm obsessed with anything lilac. I love, love, love that one. I just love Fenty. They bring me so much joy. I adore them, as you can see from my rather massive collection. Another thing that launched with that collection was a new shade in the oil, the Fenty Treats. And this one is Barbados Cherry. This one smells like cherry. I've used this so much. I'm not actually putting it in these drawers because I'm using it as a topper with everything. It just goes with everything. It gives so much hydration. It's beautiful. So the cherry launch, whilst the blushes are going to be very much specific to a look for me, if they really match a look, the lip products, I'll use them all the time with all my other much loved Fenty lip products. And this month I also tested the new YSL Plumping Lip Oil Glosses. So I got these in two shades, as always. I got the lilac-y shade. And what is this one called? It's just got a number, 01. I can't see the name of that one now, but anyway, it says 01. And I also got 44, which is the Nude Lavalier. I love Nude Lavalier. So the lilac one has that sort of shimmer, whereas the Nude Lavalier is more of a sort of cream finish. And these are good, but I have to say I haven't reached for them quite as much as I do the Fenty's or the Dior Maximizers. They're nice. I think the packaging is probably the prettiest out of all of them. The plumping effect is no better than the Dior Luminizer for sure. This does have more of a tingle. Some people are reporting these really hurt. I don't find that. But what I can say though is some days I do find they tingle and some days I don't. So I think it can sometimes be down to what's already on your lips. And one of the reasons I probably don't have problems with tingle is I always have my Delilah Lip Saviour on my lips before I start doing anything. And I wonder if that's one of the reasons I don't get this problem, because I noticed I topped up with one of these late in the day. So it was almost like a lip balm topper because I had nothing on my lips and I really felt the tingle more. So maybe that's why. But that's a tip to you. If you want to try plumping products like this that do sting and you don't like the idea of it stinging, maybe put a little bit of a base down first. I'm not sure about longevity. For me, the Delilah Lip Saviour makes things last longer. It never reduces longevity. It always makes things sit better. And it gets rid of the tingle, so it just adds to the pure magic of the Delilah Lip Saviour, my #1 lip product in the whole world. So if you want to check that one out, ask me for a link. I've also got a discount code for Delilah, 22% off with, I think it's Hand Beauty 22, but you'll find that below If not in this video, you'll find it in all my other videos. I might be a bit limited in my description bar today because always when I do my monthly reviews, there's so many products to list, I have to skip out other information. But please ask me if you do want that discount code. And the last thing I'm showing you makeup wise, I think this is the last thing. If I've forgotten anything, I will include it in my next month because some of the things I've tried have come very late in the month, so they're rolling forward to the next month. So they'll be in my end of month May review. But the last one I tried this month were all of these, all 6 shades of these from Queen Musea. These are the matte cream lipsticks. So are they the matte cream lipsticks? That's what I've written down, but they're not, are they? I've written down the wrong description. I have. These are the Skincare Supercharged Tinted Hydra Balms. So these are not very pigmented. I have reviewed all 6 of these. They just give a light pigment, but you do get the pigment. So you've got pretty much a colour with all 6 to go with every look, so you can pick your favourite shade or shades. The packaging is extremely unique and beautiful. The hydration with these is excellent and they're just beautiful. They're not particularly long lasting, you wouldn't expect them to be, but they are very, very beautiful. And I just think it's worth just getting 1 or 2 just to put on your vanity or have on display because they are so pretty. And also they gave me a discount code. They gave me 10% off, which I hopefully have written down. Yeah, it's Hannah-QM. But that will also be in the description box today. It should be there unless I run out of space, like I said. But that is all of the makeup I've tried this month that I'm going to talk about. Like I said, anything I've tried on recently that you're not seeing, they'll be coming up in my next month review. But another thing I tested out this month are these new brushes from Victoria Beckham. I'm just checking to see if I've got all of the ones I've picked. I definitely have my double-ended one somewhere. Here's the double-ended one. So I have used these non-stop since getting them. Starting with the fan brush, which has just reminded me I haven't mentioned the highlighters I tested this month. I'm very scatterbrained today, so I do apologise. So let me just do a quick rewind. I tested out these highlighters, one of which I'm wearing on my face today from YSL, the All Hours. Picked up 2 shades in this, the rose shade here, and I picked up the clear sort of white one. Now, I said when I reviewed these, they're too glittery, and I stand by that, they are too glittery. The shade that's probably most suited to my complexion is this one, but when I use it, I see the glitter even more. Whereas when I use the rose, especially if I'm using the right sort of matching type of blush shade, it blends in quite nicely as a glowy topper, and that's the one I'm wearing today. And I've actually started to really enjoy it. So that's the highlighter I'm wearing today. You do see glitter on the face, so you need to be aware of that. You don't see chunks, but you will see little bits of glitter. It doesn't particularly move, but as my face turns, it's really hard to show it on camera, but as my face turns, I am seeing the specks of glitter. I think when I record, this is filmed, you just don't see it come up on camera. I don't think you are, but trust me, you see it. So you need to be happy about that, and the same problem you get if you put it on the eyes. But it doesn't, I say problem, it doesn't have fallout like with the Dior luminizer, so I always wear shimmer on the eyes, so these are really pretty for the eyes. So they're not my favourite highlighters, but they are actually very beautiful, just that glitter is an issue. So this is the one I've ended up using the most, and this is the one I'll be putting away. But I'm actually enjoying the rose one enough to keep it on my desk, so that's a step up from when I reviewed it. I didn't think I'd be saying that, but I'm going to be putting the white one away. I think it shows up too glittery on me, and I really like the pink one when I'm wearing this sort of pink shade of blush. I also really like the packaging. They're sticking with this sort of faux leather packaging, which some of you love. Some of you have said you don't like the sort of how difficult it is to keep it clean, but anyway, I really like it. It's almost got like a pearlescent finish. Very pretty. So moving back to brushes, I've been using the Victoria Beckham fan brush every single time I apply highlight since getting it, because it's the perfect sort of width for a fan brush for me for applying highlighter. And I love the look of it. I love the ergonomic handles on these, very, very unique, so beautiful to hold, all made with walnut. The handles are made with walnut. These are synthetic brushes, but they feel like natural brushes. They're soft, they're beautiful, they're superbly effective. I'm obsessed with them. and I've had to really argue with myself about going back and buying all of them because I really want to, but I think I will wait for a sale because they are pricey. The other one I've really used a lot is this one, dual ended. This one is very good for cream blushes and powder blushes, very good. And then this end here is good for setting underneath the eyes, but you could also use it if you wanted a very chunky, very quick powder in the eye. So if you're putting something like a bronzer in the eye and matching up shades, you could use it for that because it's very good for that. And you could also use this one for highlighter, just an alternative way of applying it, but very sort of good functional dual-ended brush. And then this one is the powder brush I got. So this one's very good for blush, but also setting powders or finishing powders. It's got quite a good density. Again, very soft, just really pretty, and look at the handle. I love them. They are beautiful brushes. And this one I've used every single day as well as the fan. They're the ones I've used the most. And this one is the blender brush. So I've used this every day to start my makeup look and put my transition shade into the crease, which is the sort of brush I always use. But this one is perfect. And again, beautiful handle. So massive hit for me, the Victoria Beckham brushes. I love them. I can't stop using them. But just a quick side note on brushes. You've probably heard me, if you watch my channel, go on and on about the Wayne Goss number 6. I use it all the time. I love this. I start with my Victoria Beckham blender and then I move straight to my Wayne Goss 6 to start putting it into the outer V, and use the tip of this to then go underneath. I always go on about it. But I went on about it so much, I thought I need to go back and check the other ones. So I'm just trying, where have I put it now? I've put it down somewhere here. I've got the smaller one, which is the number 7. This one, which is from the same collection. So exactly the same style brush, just smaller. And the one I showed you that's a bit dirty, this is from an older release from Wayne, his older collection. Sorry it's dirty, I did use it today. And this is the number E2. These are all available on Beautylish. So I've now got 3 of this beautiful brush. And I think E2 is a sort of medium size. And then the one number 7 is small. So I've got small, medium and large of this stunning shaped crease brush. And they are the best. All 3 of them. I need to clean it, that's why I'm not putting it away. The one I need to clean, but all 3 of them sit in my eye makeup brush holder right here in front of me, along with that one from Victoria Beckham, and they're daily use now. And back to makeup, because I've written everything down in the wrong order. The Charlotte Tilbury newly formulated eyeliners, but also these are new shades. So this is the Rock and Coal formula. They are now dual ended in the sense that one end has a smudger and one end has the eyeliner, just like the Victoria Beckham, and the smudger is exactly the same. So Emerald is my favourite of the 2 I tried. So I did actually get these wrong when I did a video. So if anyone saw me trying on the green eyeliner with the green eyeshadow palette from Charlotte Tilbury, I did it in a shorts video. I actually gave the wrong name because I said I was using Sapphire Nights, which is the blue, but I wasn't. I was using this one, which is Hypnotic Peacock, which is the emerald green. These have excellent longevity, and somebody asked me how they work in the waterline, which is not something I would do with deep shades. I like to wear light shades in my waterline these days, but I tested it for you. I used the blue, I think it was, or I can't remember. Anyway, I used one of these 2 in my waterline, and when I went to bed very late at night, it was still there, hadn't budged. So they work in the waterline, they don't move, they lock down, they've got the same longevity as Victoria Beckham and Lisa Eldridge, the 2 sort of longest lasting ones I've got. When I test them on the back of my hand, they didn't last quite as long as those 2, but they were still there. But on the eyes, they don't budge. I think the hand is a lot less forgiving because obviously you're washing your hands so much and doing things throughout the day. But on my eyes, no budging whatsoever. Very creamy, very easy to blend out, extremely easy actually. I love them. One of the best eyeliner formulas on the market, along with Victoria Beckham. In fact, I'd say they're as good as, and Victoria Beckham's my number 1. So that's how good they are. So I'm hoping we get more shades in those because I really enjoyed those. And now jumping to what I think is the last makeup product. Hopefully my list isn't any more bizarre than I've already made it. And that is these 2 here from Armani. These are the Prisma Glass Icy Plumpers. Firstly, the packaging on these, beautiful. But the formula One of the silkiest, softest, most hydrating formulas out there. I know we are absolutely saturated with these sorts of products, but this has to be one of the nicest. They don't give an awful lot of pigment, but they are stunning. I love these. So if you wanted to see my review of these, you will see a review on my channel. So do look out for that if you wanted to see them in action, but these are beautiful. I am reaching for them, but as you can see, I've been a bit swamped. So I've kept them on my desk alongside the Dior that I told you is not leaving my desk. But I also told you how the new Fenty oil won't be leaving my desk, along with the Dior oil, which isn't leaving my desk. So they're sort of in line at the moment. There's the Fenty that I'm really enjoying. So these are with them. But then last month we had the Merit, and they're also on my desk. My desk is getting overrun. They're not even in the pot to my right. They're just on the surface. So it's all very cluttered, and I'm going to have to start moving things off my desk at some point because it's too bad. It's too crammed. It's a right mess, to be honest with you. So I'm keeping the YSL as well, but I think they'll probably be going away. And I'm keeping these Merit still because I'm really enjoying the Merit. I love these, but that was last month. But the Armani one's definitely worth trying. If you like their formula before, these ones are gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. But that is the end of my makeup review. But I'm just going to finish now with perfume. So you may have seen quite a few people mention this, and quite a lot of adverts for it. But this is actually my first Chanel purchase of perfume. And the reason for that is I've never, and many of you may hate me for saying this, but I've never liked the Chanel perfume before enough to purchase it. It's very pricey, and I've never tried one on in store and thought I want to buy it. I do like the Chance perfumes when I've tried them. They're definitely my favourite from the Chanel range, but this is the first one that I thought I'm definitely going to buy, and it's not just because it's lilac. It looks a bit pink on screen there. I don't know if that's because I'm in pink. Can I show it to you in a different way? But it is lilac. Anyway, it does look pink, but it is lilac, trust me. So the description on this, it says, this releases an olfactory whirlwind diffusing a fruity floral fragrance. So fruity's immediately drawn me in. That is captivating and elegant. A bright, sparkling raspberry accord with facets of crisp fruit, rose and violet, soars before revealing a rich and luminous floral heart of rose geranium. This geranium, with a naturally rosy scent and a subtle minty tone, is grown in the Chanel fields in Grasset, is it? I'm not sure on the pronunciation there, I apologise. It's accompanied by a sophisticated touch of powdery iris and a mysterious cedar white musk accord, all of which makes the most beautiful combination of fruity floral without being heavy floral. So I wouldn't say if you're someone who struggles with rose or geranium, for instance, you think, oh, that's going to be too much. It's not. It's not too much. It's just right. It's just the right combination of fruit and floral. It's a more sophisticated Kayali, if you like. I love the Kayali floral and fruit combinations, but this one is the much more sophisticated version. You feel like you're wearing something very expensive, very classy, but it's perfect for spring, summer. Absolute perfect shade, fragrance. But as with most perfumes, I do need to top up after about 4 hours with this. It does last a reasonable amount of time, but I don't find perfumes last well on me anyway. I'm just one of those people. So I do need to top up after about 4 hours, but every time I catch a whiff of this whilst it's lingering on me, I love it. I love it from the first moment I spray it. I love it. So my first Chanel purchase, the first one that's actually made me want to buy it. And now for a brand I've bought a few things from before, but I think this is my favourite perfume from them so far, and it's a very different type of perfume. This is from Jo Malone. This is sat on my desk and I've used it so much since getting it. So this is the Beach Blossom Cologne, and this has to be the summer perfume, the #1 summer perfume I think that I've got in my collection right now. This very different packaging, very different sort of fragrance from Jo. This is described as a summer escape to the idyllic palm-fringed beaches of the Seychelles to encounter the rare Coco de Mer. Basking in tropical sunlight, the sea coconut sculptural form inspires a fresh solar scent. A refreshing twist of coconut water is carried on the breeze, meeting the sparkling clarity of the lime and mint, wrapped in the allure of tonka bean. I mean, that description, that grabbed me and made me buy it within about 3 seconds. I've checked the website, by the way, it's still in stock in the UK. The 50ml is gone, so you have to go for this big one. And I don't know if I've written down the price actually, I haven't, so I do apologise. But anyway, if I tell you the notes in more detail, the top note we have is lime. So a vibrant citrus opens the fragrance with a zesty freshness. I definitely need to stop filming, my speech is gone. The heart note is the coconut water. Light and refreshing qualities instantly lift the fragrance and add a tropical feel, which it absolutely does. And base note, tonka bean, with warm accents of vanilla and almond, adding tangible richness to the fragrance. So this is absolutely beautiful. Like I said, I'm going to be taking this one when I go on holiday because I'll have more luggage space, because this is perfect for holidays, perfect for spring, summer, specifically summer. Think beaches, think holidays. This is an very expensive, which doesn't smell like sun cream, but you know there's really nice sun creams that have really nice fragrances added. It's like a super luxury expensive version of that sort of fragrance. So if you think the Sol de Janeiro, but a very posh version. I'm not saying a specific fragrance here, but you know they've got that sort of coconut holiday vibe, quite a few of those fragrances. This is like a much more long-lasting, luxurious, very luxurious version of that. So this is a real treat if you love fragrances like that. And this one does have pretty good longevity. I've noticed if I catch it in my hair, I really pick up on it sort of during the night and the next morning, so it does last. Obviously on the skin, not quite as long lasting, but it does really last me, and I've done very well with this one. So like I said, it's been on my desk and I've worn it most days since getting it, so I'm absolutely loving that one, along with this new one from Chanel. If I had to pick one of the two, it would be the Jo Malone, but I am enjoying the one from Chanel very much as well. Anyway, that's all from me for today. Another massive roundup from another massive month. I do hope that you have found this helpful. I would love to hear from you in the comments section. Have you tried any of the products I've shown you today? Have you had different experiences to me? Have you got any tips for anyone reading through these comments on any products that maybe aren't working for me, but they are working for you? Because obviously that's very useful. And have I not included some of your favourites? Have I included something you really hate? Anything you would like to say, I would absolutely love to hear it. And if you've enjoyed this, please do hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. I would love it ever so much if you did. And if you already are, thank you so much for being at the end of another one of my videos. I really appreciate you all very much. And I do hope to see you all again for my next video. Take care everybody. Bye.